move through the month of Elul. And today we start with the second day of reflection. And there we go. It is up and live. It is so wonderful when I have confirmation that that is in fact what's going on. Great. I'm just so glad to be able to start the day with each of you. To begin here from a place of gratitude, a place of joy, and a place of introspection moving into these high holy days. We begin each morning with a singing of Achat Sha'alti to put us in the right frame of mind, to remind us that this is a month of seeking, a month of longing, and a month of excitement as well. Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh. Achat she'alti mebeit Adonai avakesh. Shivti mebeit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulavaker veichalo. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulavaker veichalo. Every single morning, when we gather during Elul, there will be a different person in our community who offers a reflection. I asked 28 different people a series of questions and had them choose one that I thought would speak to our preparation for the High Holy Days, or what's giving us strength at this very strange and challenging moment in our history. And this morning, we happen to have a reflection from Michael Sherman, an artist in our community, a man with a beautiful neshama, a beautiful soul, who so often uplifts many of us with his wisdom and his support. And I am so grateful for Michael to share a piece of himself, a piece of his incredible artwork, and some reasoning behind it with us this morning.
Hi, my name is Michael Sherman, for those of you who may not know me. During the past 18 years, it has been a challenge and pleasure for me to use my artistic skills, having had a long and enjoyable career in dentistry, and to apply these skills toward sculpting primarily the human face. For me, almost all of my previous sculptures have been my attempt to capture the anatomy and expressions of heads and faces of people around the world. Using Google, I would look at as many faces as I could find of the same race, gender, and age, and I would try to determine what makes this face unique and different from other faces in terms of the bony and soft tissue anatomy of the skin and muscles beneath it. Here are some of the many examples of the faces that I have sculpted over the years. African American, Native American, Asian, senior Caucasian, and even a crying rabbi's face. So recently, Rabbi Cassie asked me if I've used art as a form of inspiration during the pandemic. To be honest, I am and have been quite dismayed and concerned about the COVID-19 virus. It has affected my psyche and the sculpture work that I do. So to the best of my ability, I have decided to do something I've never done before. It evolved as I continued. I decided to create a large and abstract sculpture of a man's head. On one side, there is fairly normal anatomy of the skin, the nose, the eyes, the eye position and eyelids, the lips, chin, and so on. On the other side, there is crossed eye position, droopy eyelid, scars, cleft lip, deformed ear, and pockmarks on the skin. To me, the sculpture shows, because of this pandemic, the complex duality of my feelings: joy versus grief, happiness versus sadness, beauty versus ugliness, health versus disease, and safety versus vulnerability. In conclusion, I feel an ongoing slight degree of depression and distress because of the suffering of all of us humans around the world, regardless of race, age, religion, and gender. But sooner or later, through our hope, faith, and medical research, we can overcome this pandemic and have our lives restored to health once again. Thank you. Hi.
How amazingly talented is Michael Sherman? And I think that the words that he gives in talking through his creation can really speak to us as well, looking at these incredible sculptures and the way in which he designed that last one, just showing what we're going through at this very moment. It makes me think that the things that we look at, the things that we view, can be viewed in any number of ways. After all, that's what art is. And it can uplift us. As we allow Michael's words to kind of sink in to us, I want to just say a couple words about why I decided to do the Elul reflections and the way that we're doing it. We have so many incredibly wise and thoughtful, talented people in our community. It actually is overwhelming in the most positive way. And yet all of us haven't had the chance to truly get to know one another. Just being in the community a year myself, I'm just starting to get to know people in a lot of ways. And it is my hope that in this month of Elul, this month of connection, it can actually foster connections between us. So if you heard something that was interesting or inspiring in what Michael did and said, I invite you, reach out to him, look him up in the directory, shoot him a quick email or a phone call and say, Michael, you are awesome and I'd love to talk about this. I think those connections can bring us closer and also give us faith at this time. Every morning we are going to look at the very same psalm. Psalm 27, reading the same words, and yet perhaps we'll be able to take a different piece out of it each day when we do. Of David, Adonai is my light and my victory. From whom shall I feel fright? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. From whom shall I feel terror? When evildoers approach me in battle to feed on my flesh, my pursuers, my adversaries, they have stumbled, they have fallen down. If a camp encamps against me, my heart will not fear. If a war rises against me, in this I would trust. One thing I have sought from Adonai, how I long for it, that I might live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, that I might look upon the sweetness of Adonai and spend time in the palace. That you might hide me in the sukkah on a chaotic day, hide me in the hiding places of your tent, raise me high above a rock. Now my head rises high above my enemies round about, and in your tent I will offer offerings to the sound of the truah. I shall sing and chant praises to Adonai. Hear, Adonai, my voice, I am crying out, be gracious to me, answer me. My heart has said to you, seek my face, I am seeking your face, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, God of my deliverance. For my father and my mother have abandoned me, yet Adonai gathers me up. Make your path apparent to me. Guide me in the upright road because of those up ahead who lie in wait for me. Do not hand me over to the lust of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, puffing violently. Had I not the faith that I would see the goodness of God in the land of life, wait for Adonai. Fill your waiting with hope in Adonai. Let your heart be strong and of good courage, and wait hopefully for Adonai. Each morning we turn to another piece of wisdom in this beautiful book that Deborah Robbins put together, Rabbi Deborah Robbins, called Opening Your Heart with Psalm 27. And this morning, just like yesterday, she focuses on this word, Ori, my light. Adonai is my light and my victory. That this morning, I'm going to read you the short liturgical poem that she wrote in response to this one word of light. She gives birth to new light each morning. Pink streaks stretched across the sky, the sign of laboring in the dark. She retreats as the light breaks forth. There is the bold, bright, burning light of God, blazing at noon, exploding at sunset. And there is the life-giving glow of Shekhinah emerging from the fear after facing enemies, hearing memories that speak in the darkness. Radiant light, gentle, warm, awakening softly, slowly, with confidence and consistency every day, all year for eternity. She rises, bringing light into the world painfully, like a woman who gives birth, a new day emerging from the darkness of a nurturing womb. In her light, hope and courage embolden my heart. Fears that fill the dark retreat, intricate patterns of my life are illuminated. This one needs adjusting, this one affirming, this one harmful, this one helpful. In her light, infinite possibilities for this moment, this year, this life emerge from the shadows. I almost turn away. It seems the dawn will never come, and then suddenly her light. I turn toward a new day ready to be filled with patience, with joy, with gifts, and to give my best into the world for no reason other than I am alive. I am grateful. I am blessed. I wait and watch for the glow of the Shekhinah arising. She never fails to surprise me with her constancy. From the darkness, light. From behind a wave, beneath the trees, into the window, always across the horizon, filling my world with her light. Today, may we be filled with the gratitude in this poem. May we find it in Psalm 27 and in ourselves. It's a good custom during the month of Elul to keep a journal and to find some way to express ourselves, to get ourselves ready for the high holy days ahead. And as she calls us, Rabbi Robbins, to this feeling of gratitude with her poem, so too are we called with the sound of the shofar by none other than our very own Ethan Shehan.
Tekiah, Shavarim, Teruah, Tekiah.
May that sounding of the shofar awaken us in the most wonderful ways possible on this Shabbat morning. Now, I know yesterday people were a little upset because I didn't do my Rabbi Romper Room, saying some of the people who are here, and it is so wonderful to have some of you here. So I'm going to do just a little bit of that now, though I haven't figured out how to look at everyone on YouTube and both Facebook pages at the same time. But from the Temple Facebook page, Diane Gross and Bonnie and Chrissy and Hannah and Dee and Donnie, Rachel and David and Elliot, it is so wonderful to have all of you here. Howard and Marla and Diane and Jim and Karen, it is truly a blessing to start this day with each of you. You lift up my soul, and I hope that by coming together each morning, we will truly have an opportunity to lift up one another's. Every morning, I think it's important that we end with a Misha Berach prayer, a prayer for healing. There are so many people in our world, as we know, who are in need of healing of mind, healing of body, and healing of spirit. So for all of them, let us join together and offer these words of our Misha Berach prayer. Mi shebera avotenu mikor habracha ehimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Of course, each morning we'll be gathering right here in order to continue with our Elul reflections. Tomorrow, Nina Praise is going to be offering a reflection, and you don't want to miss that. And my daughter will be blowing shofar, which you also don't want to miss. Certainly I don't. We have a weekend that is filled with so much excitement. At 10 o'clock in just a short while from now, I hope everyone can join us in our Zoom webinar room. Unfortunately, we're not able to stream this, but if you have the Zoom link or if you're interested, send me a message. And we're going to be having a program with Mara Gad talking about what it is like being a mixed race Jew and how we can be more welcoming and open-hearted to every single person within our Jewish community, not just people who look like us. We are also having our Zoomathon tonight at 7 p.m., starting with Havdalah, and I hope everyone can come to be a part of. We have some incredibly talented musicians in our community who will be a part. We have a magic trick, I understand, by the one and only Max Paquin, and we have a lot of other really wonderful insight into things going on at Temple Bethel, and as well as having some performers such as Rick Recht and Neshama Karlibach and so many others. So I hope you'll be able to tune in for that. And then tomorrow, of course, we have our Torah School and family parking lot parade. We'll be driving through between 10 and 10:10 a.m., followed by a community-wide scavenger hunt, and then picking up our boxes of some of the supplies that we'll need as we get ready for the High Holy Days and we start our Torah School year. I look forward to seeing you at all of these things, whether in person or virtually, and it has been lovely to start the day with each of you. Shabbat Shalom.